deficits that remain modest in comparison to the size of the economy, and they haven't really changed in comparison to the fall fiscal update. They're certainly lower than originally projected in budget 2016 and 17, but there is new money being spent in this budget. It's about $5.5 billion being spent. There's $6 billion in projected new money, so the deficit is going down a $500 million. And then there's a $3 billion contingency. So we're basically looking at a deficit in the next year of about $15 billion. There is a slow reduction over the coming years, and the fiscal anchor that the government has set for itself at the moment is debt to GDP ratio, and we do see that declining every year. And so that's when you hear concerns about balanced budgets, keep that in mind that that's the current outlook. And the second thing I would say is the Parliamentary Budget Office just had a report in October 2017 that noted that the federal finances, and it's not a huge difference between the fall fiscal framework and budget 2018 in terms of the numbers, and at that time they noted that federal finances are very sustainable over the long term. The real issue is subnational debt when we look at federal framework. So, or the financial framework for all levels of government. Okay, so that's the sort of the context to it. And so where is that new money going? And when you look at this budget, we see new money in a number of different areas. We see it in funding for Indigenous communities as a large line item. That's specifically to address the Human Rights Tribunal case of discriminatory funding in child welfare services. We also see new monies for housing, First Nations housing. We also see new monies for some small new monies for clean water initiatives to top up previous money that was allocated in budget 2016 in the figure of $2 billion. So that's one pretty large line item. Another large line item is science, and that science is broken up in both basic research to address what was known or is known as the Naylor Report. And I've never seen a lobby effort I met with neuroscientists, I met with people who were coming in my office who never spoke to their MP and never considered lobbying, and they were coming and saying, we need to reinvest in basic science and make sure that a better balance is struck between basic science and specific research initiatives as directed by government. And so there's major new money.
Is that because of cutbacks?
Partially cutbacks, and partially when the federal governments have been putting new monies into science, they've been putting them into specific directed programs, and they have not been funding basic science in the same way. And so there's a lot of new monies for the tri-councils, or the tri-council, I should say, and a lot of money to basically respond to the Naylor Report. There is new monies and on the innovation piece, which I'll get into in more detail, there is some new monies for research that is more focused on innovation, and that's general, but there's a lot more concrete detail on how they want to. There's a lot of money for innovation through different programs, and they're trying to streamline them to 4 flagship programs, and it's page 102 of the budget, but we can get into more of a conversation about that. International development, and welcome, come on in around, and I just really appreciate you guys coming out on a Sunday afternoon and hearing me talk about federal finances.
I was anxious to come.
I was.
Really.